Hi everyone, Barbara Rankin here today with another video creator tutorial for you from ColourArte. And today I thought I would play with my gel press printing plate and also my fabulous ColourArte products and see what we can come up with. So let's get started. Okay, I've got a 6x6 size gel press printing plate today. Be sure to save the packaging that it comes in because you will want it for storing your plate. And as you can see, mine has been used and still has some dried paint on it. You can clean your plate, but sometimes the dried paint will come off onto one of your prints and it will add a grungy look to your print. And the plate comes with 2 pieces of acetate. You'll need to remove those. I like to put mine inside the packaging so I don't lose it. Now, I'm going to set my plate on a piece of printer paper. I'm just going to put a drop of the African Jade Vivid on the plate, and I'm going to add a little dollop of Ocean Wave as well. And you can see my brayer is pretty well painted up too. And I'm just mixing the colors on the plate and using some drawing paper that I had in my stash. I've cut it into 6-inch, well, it's not quite 6 inches wide. And there you can see that some of the paint, the dried paint has come off, and it leaves a pretty cool effect. And I'm going to do this again with the same 2 colors, the African Jade and the Ocean Wave, and just brayer that on and pick up some more of that color. I'm trying to get some of that dried on paint to come off as well. I like that look. It almost looks like gold foil. And there you see I was able to pull a large piece off of the plate. So it's not totally necessary to clean your plate unless you really want to, but the dried paint, when it comes off with a print, it's pretty cool looking. It gives that kind of a grungy look to the background. And so now that was just a little bit of paint I had left on the brayer, so it was a light, very light pale print. I like to get some background color down first on each of my blank sheets before adding pattern and texture. I'm going to speed up the video now while I print some background colors so it won't be so boring for you to watch. And then I will continue to create some patterns with some stencils and color variations. Don't worry if I'm going too fast. I'll show you some close-ups of the finished pieces at the end of the video. One thing to remember while printing is to have lots of paper on hand. I have some copy paper next to my plate for cleaning off my brayer and a stack of drawing papers to print on. Deli paper is also useful to have close at hand to clean off your gel plate whenever you want to start off clean with new color combos. They also accept prints nicely for collaging onto canvases and especially gluing into your art journals. You do want to get the unwaxed deli paper for best results. Okay, I've grabbed some stencils and let's add some pattern to our prints. I will list each stencil I use at the beginning of the video in the description box below the video and on my blog. First, I'm using a Crafter's Workshop Arabesque stencil. First, I'm laying down some color with Teal Zircon and Kiwi Vivid before I lay the stencil onto the plate. You can lay the stencil down onto the clean plate first and then brayer on the colors, or you can brayer on the colors first before laying down the stencil. Either way will give you different results. Bear in mind that your color choices will determine how well a pattern shows up or whether it is very pale and hardly noticeable. For instance, this second print, or ghost print as they are called, is not showing up too well on this paper because the colors are the same. This can be a good thing, but either way, it is always about layers, so just keep printing until you like it. Next, I'm simply cleaning off my brayer a bit onto my plate and the rest onto my printer paper. Then I'm adding Solar Gold Vivid over that. When I lay down my next stencil and I print onto one of my pinker papers, you will see that these two colors contrast nicely and show up quite well. Again, it's just something to keep in mind, but I really don't think about it too much as it could start to hurt my head. But I prefer the mystery and playfulness and the surprise you always get when you lift the paper. It is just too much fun. I'll simply keep using different color combinations with different stencils to achieve a lot of texture and different patterns, even though I may be using the same stencils over and over again. Now I want to lighten some of my darker sheets, so I'm mixing Ocean Wave with Siam White Vivid to make a pastel color. The Siam White is less translucent, so keep that in mind when using it. Of course, spreading it on thinly will keep it less opaque, but it all depends on the look you are going for. You can see how much lighter the print is, and take a look at the ghost print. Even the second printing shows up quite well on this fairly light background. And here's an example of how well your analogous colors show up well when printed onto one another. And don't be afraid to clean off your brayer onto a print that might just need a bit more color added to it. As long as the paint is dry on your paper, you shouldn't get muddy or brown colors. Now I've got a Stencil Girl stencil, and I'm mixing Solar Gold and True Metals Dragon Gold Vivids together. I'm going for a warmth and shine that I think these colors will give to some of my darker prints. So I'm just continuing to add a variety of colors and stencil patterns to each paper, stopping only when I'm happy with my results. And here it looks like I'm going for a bolder pattern that I'm not so sure I will like, but I can keep adding layers until I do like it. Now I'm taking a risk by adding Ocean Blue and Siam White over this orange background. And you will see it started to look a bit muddy, but because I printed over another orange background, it actually turned out kind of pretty, I think. I really like the way the Siam White brightens up the colors and really makes the patterns pop. Now I'm checking through my prints to see which ones, if any, need help. I found a couple that seem to need a bit of pink, so I'm mixing Pink Azalea with Siam White Vivid to add to those that might benefit. So I'll add a little pink to a few of them, and if I find any, I think I need a little Solar Gold just to add that pop of warmth and brightness and shine. I'll add that to a few of my pieces, and then I'll call it done. Well, that's it for today's project. Before I go, I have some still photos to share of the prints and close-ups of the textures you get with this paint, too. Now that I have this nice stash of pretty printed background papers, I'm thinking of making some cards, and I hope you will come back in a few days to check out my next video where I will show you how I use them. When I have the video uploaded, I will provide the link to it in the description box below this video. But if you want to be sure you don't miss it, please consider subscribing to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you like today's video. For more projects and inspiration, you can find me on these social media links. Thanks for watching, and remember to always take time to play.